My name is Jen Barley.
Hello there, everybody. I am Karen Sullivan.
Excellent. We are excited to be here with you guys at the second day of 2018, and we thought it'd be a perfect time to talk about intentions versus commitment. What's the difference? How do you coach it? And also to take a look at your own life to see what's working and what's not working. Right, Karen?
Absolutely.
Great. So hopefully you guys are joining us on our page. Go ahead and type in a quick hello. If you're here, where maybe you're calling from, or even what the temperature is, because Karen and I are in Florida, and what, Karen?
It's freaking cold. Now, listen, guys, I know that it's like single digits up in the northeast of the US of A. But we didn't sign up for that cold weather down here. We signed up for it up there, and we left there to come here. So therefore, it's not supposed to be this freaking cold. It was 42 degrees here. And that's just not right.
I love it. Karen, can you see the screen? Do you see how I have snow falling?
I do not.
Well, everybody out there can see that that's my little thing to say, we're from Florida. So we definitely have some people that are coming in. This is great. Cynthia is saying a big hello, Jen and Karen. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Cynthia. We are super excited that you are here with us. And then we also have Rena saying hello. She can't see us, but it seems like she might be able to hear us. And it's our friend Rana. Rana says, hi, ladies. So glad I could catch you. We are excited that you are here too, for sure. A funny little thing that Brenda Baird sent in right before the start of the broadcast, she said that her husband thinks she should be committed. Is that the same thing? I love it. Hashtag humor 2018. So good. I'm glad you guys are here. And we also have Joanne Ryan saying a big hey and giving us a shout out. So Karen, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what is the difference of intention and commitment. I'm going to share something with you guys of sort of where this first popped up for me. So Karen and I are part of another group, and somebody was putting out their intentions, and one of the group leaders says they didn't believe in intentions. They only believe in commitments. And I had this really interesting reaction. I'm like, what? What do you mean you don't believe in intentions? And he said that commitments are nonstop negotiable, and intentions are something you might intend to do. And I really was resisting, like, he just doesn't know what intentions means. He's just not committed enough to his intentions, and like made, all this stuff. And then I had to ask myself, why am I resisting this concept? And I think it was because if I say I am wholeheartedly committed, then it actually means I have to do it. And I think that was, so I'm like, no, let's stay with the word intentions. And it sort of got me to think about my relationship with intentions and commitment. So Karen and I have some different ideas about this whole thing, and so we're going to share it. But Karen, what comes up for you when you hear the difference between intention and commitment?
So funny, Jen. I think that a big part is, I'm going to steal a quote from Peter Drucker. Unless there's commitment, intentions are only promises and hopes, but no plans. And I think that I don't want to discourage people from, and I think that's a big part. I don't want to discourage people from having intentions by any means at all. I think it's important that people have intentions, but I think intentions is the first step to getting something done. Because if you have the intention that you're going to get it done, then you make a commitment to actually get it done, and then you have to take the action. So it's that saying, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So people might have the intentions to undertake good things, but you don't take action. So you need action, right? Action and commitment are going to help you fulfill your intentions.
Love it. So, Karen, will you do me a favor and tilt your screen a little bit towards you? So we can see your beautiful face and not the ceiling. Okay. And your lava lamp. Okay. So some of the things we've been doing in our Facebook group are around the ideas of intention versus commitment. And one of the things we've been playing around with for 2018 is having everybody pick a word for 2018. So it's a great way to sort of say a theme equals an intention. So we've had many different people share the words. For Karen and I, it is grounded, committed, focus. And those are our 3 words for 2018. That's an intention. We intend to have a year that is centered around those words. Just saying those words, though, doesn't really make us commitment. We don't have any actions, well, in theory, by just saying those words that line up with how are we going to make that theme really be present on a day-to-day basis. And so one of the things that we've done is we moved to taking our commitment to the actual action behind those. So we have different things that we have in play to help us be grounded. So I'm going to give an example today. One of the things that leaves me most ungrounded is if I have a half unpacked suitcase on my floor. And with the amount that Karen and I travel, it could be there all the time. It could be there 24/7, right? So Karen's wonderful. She gets right home from a trip. Everything goes right into the laundry. Then the empty suitcase goes upstairs in the closet. Me, I have it out on the floor. It's one of the most ungrounded things I can do for myself because it doesn't signify, am I here or am I somewhere else? So even today, we're going to Hawaii next week, and we had to pack from Jersey to come to Hawaii. It's a long story on how we manage not to have everything in one house. But anyway, the suitcase is open. Very first thing I do this morning is, because I'm not unpacking it because I'm going to Hawaii, zip it up, set it up straight so that I'm not having that reminded to be ungrounded. Simple thing, the commitment is unpacking or packing my suitcase and what needs to happen. Right, Kara?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool though, too.
What?
I said it was cool that you actually said you were going to do it and that you did it, though. Right? So
right.
Your intention, Jen, originally was to actually, so the intention was the quote unquote, the aim or the plan. You're actually executing on it was the commitment.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, I had to first ask myself, what is it that's going to help me feel grounded? If I intend to be more grounded, what's going to get me there? What are the actions I need to take on a daily basis? When do I feel ungrounded? When do I feel scattered? When do I feel like my feet are firmly planted on the floor? Those are the kinds of things that are really important to be able to figure out. So when you guys think of the word that you submitted on the Facebook group for 2018, it could have been passionate or self-trust or action or being. I'm looking up at the poster. It could be abundant. It could be peace. It could be bloom. It doesn't matter what your word was. That's the intention. The carry through on how you're going to live that. So at the end of 2018, you're like, what was my word? But your word is now a part of who you are, is through the commitments that you're actually going to bring forward. So Karen and I were thinking a lot about, let me show my little graphic here. That action is actually the commitment. So we decided that we wanted to talk a little bit about how do we actually coach intentions and commitments, because right now is a big time for goal setting with clients, right? It's a new year, it's a blank slate. People are super excited about what's to come. And so it's about how do we actually help our clients be more successful. So Kara, do you want me to throw in some questions we have here?
Yeah, you know, Jen, yeah, go ahead and make sure you talk about the question that you said about the gut instincts, because I have something really good to talk about that one.
Okay, let's do that first then, shall we?
Okay, so read that question.
I will. So it actually came from Trish. Trish asked 2 questions. This is her second question. She said, I read in a recent Success magazine an interview with Gabby Bernstein, in which she was quite adamant that she does not set goals. To paraphrase from the article, Gabby believes the universe and gut instinct guide you in the right direction. And Trish wrote, curious what our community thinks about that approach.
So one thing that I think that is interesting, because everybody, the people that don't know Gabby Bernstein, she's really a spiritual guru. And a lot of what she does is based on intentions. But the thing also about Gabby Bernstein is she might not call things quote unquote goals, but there's a lot of action. There's a lot of things that she does. So she puts messages out there. She gets really intentional. She meditates all the time. And she trusts her gut. And then she puts it out there and she does things. She doesn't just sit on the couch like this and expect amazing things to happen without her getting off her ass. So the big thing is that she does do something. So there's actions. And just if you're not calling them, goals, that's okay. And I'll be honest, guys, I am not a fan of the word goal. I'm just like, let's just freaking do it. Like, I don't need to say, okay, this is a goal and this is a goal and this is a goal. It's just, all right, what needs to get done, and let's just go do it. Now, there's this gentleman, and the Gabby Bernstein thing made me think about this. There's this gentleman, and I don't know how to spell his name, and I'm going to probably butcher it, but his name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, I think. And he's he's actually known as the father of the study of flow. And one of the things that he talks about, which, and this is why I wanted to connect this, is that flow is a state that he talks about when you're immersed in an experience that is so rewarding that you feel like you're one with the experience. But the big part about this is the action and the awareness are merged together. And what he talks about commitment is we're not distracted by the noise or the other things that we could be doing or going on, because we're absolutely wholeheartedly committed to our objective. Then we're free to be in what we're in and to be in flow and be present.
You know, I love that you bring that up, Kara, because it got me thinking. So when you think about being in flow and present, and then what Gabby says about gut instinct and paying attention to the universe, you have to be committed to who you are as a person to be able to live that principle, right? So what I mean by that is I can have the gut feeling like, oh yeah, I can eat as much sugar as I want today. It'll be okay. I'll get back on track tomorrow. If I'm a person that from my place of being, though, is somebody who has a high value on health, then I need to have who I am at my deepest core be the gut that I listen to, if that makes sense, right? So to be able to really be in flow, you have to know what you stand for. You have to know who you are as a person. You have to know technically who do you need to be in order to achieve some of the things that you want to achieve. Because your alignment with your who has to be so on track to be able to do the gut thing, or I can talk myself out of things in a heartbeat. I can easily say, oh, the universe is telling me I need to rest when I just maybe want a break. But if I'm a person who at the core of who I am is determined and dedicated and committed, then I may take the not easy way out.
Yeah, I think the big thing here too, Jen, is what you were just saying too, kind of made me think of there's no maybe, or there's no kind of, or there's no try when there's commitment. They're just doing it, right? You're in it or you're not in it. Like it's just, you're going to pull the trigger, you're going to make a decision and you're go. It's the, when we say go, we just go. And that's the big thing, that you're committed to what you're in when you're actually in it.
I love it. So we got a couple comments coming in here. Brenda Baird says, yeah, baby. Bean, which is good. Rhonda said she's going to Google that name. Good luck with Googling it the way Karen pronounced it. If anybody does know, or Kara, if you sent me the name in a text message, I could post it up on the screen for people. And I got to give a shout out to Tiffin. Hey, love to be able to reconnect with your great energy, Jen. And it is so good to see you popping up here as well. So another good things, we got another hell yeah and some happy new year. So good. Okay. So let me throw out a couple other questions here, and I think this is a big one that often will come up for people, and that is really around the concept of should goals, right? So when you're working with clients, there are often people who say, I should go to the gym more, or I should eat healthy, or I should, get up and meditate. It doesn't matter what it is. But the question that we got in here is, how do you handle if it's should-based goals? So Karen, as a coach, what do you do?
I say stop shitting on yourself. the thing is this about, you got to connect things to what you're doing. And, you should, quote unquote, pay your mortgage, right? You should pay your rent. You should do it. There's things that you need to do, but that's not the kind of stuff that we're talking about. What we're talking about here is when you you have to ask yourself, what are your goals and who are they for? And I think that that's a really, really good thing to do. A little bit of an inventory in the beginning of the year. If you are somebody that's going to list out your goals and write down, who are they for? Are they for you or are they for somebody else? Because the somebody else ones, it's interesting. Sometimes they're a motivating factor and sometimes they're not. Because if you sit here and say, I'm going to you're going to tell somebody that you're going to pick them up at the airport, right? And then you also tell yourself that you're going to exercise tomorrow morning. The funny thing is you should do both, but most likely you're going to be more committed to actually picking somebody up at the airport. And the reason why I'm saying that is because sometimes the shoulds from other people are bigger motivators than what we're doing for ourselves. But really asking yourself is what's on this list important? If I don't do it, what is it that, that it's actually going to say about me? And that's a big thing sometimes. It's funny, Jen and I just did this 40-day run streak. And, we had to run at least 1 mile a day between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. And there were some days where it's just like, oh my gosh, I have zero interest in going outside and running or hopping on a treadmill and running. But we were doing this thing with it was Jen and I and 3 other people. So there was 5 of us. And you know what? It was like, hey, I said I was going to do this. I was committed to it, but also there was no way that I was going to be the one that was bailing out on that, out of that thing. Because one of my big things is do what you say you're going to do, how you said you're going to do it, when you said you're going to do it. And that's part of who I am. So how do you connect the doing things to who you are?
I love it. And Kara, a good point about thinking about that is when we help our clients is that what's the bigger why, right? So let's say you say, I should be doing this. Well, if you did do that, what would that say about you? Or if you were committed to that, what could you tell other people? Or if you were committed to that, who would that make you as a person? But what I'm getting at is that we need to find out what's underneath the should. What's going to be the driver? So a lot of times, and using the run streak as the thing, as sometimes it was I should go running, but there was one day I did not want to do it. I was just like, oh my God. And I was just like, if I could get out of this or lie, I totally would, right? But we had a text message and you had to text everybody every day and stuff. But then I thought to myself is, so what's behind the should? And to be honest, I was wearing a stupid t-shirt that came as part of it. I wanted to wear the t-shirt on yesterday. So yesterday was last day. We got to wear the t-shirts, all that kind of good stuff. But the reality is what motivated me more then was the feeling I would get when I could wear the t-shirt more than the dread I was experiencing right there. So the more that you can get your shoulds connected to a feeling that somebody wants to have, what is it going to say about them? Who do they become through the process of achieving this goal? What makes it important? And also when people say things like, I should be doing this, is to say, whose voice do you hear besides your own telling you that, right? So it could be a teacher, a neighbor, a mother, a brother, a authority figure, or the rights of being a good human being, to find out how true that is. And then you could even ask, so let's say somebody says, you know what, I hear the voice, it's totally my mom saying I should do that. What's important to your mom? If I was to interview your mom right now and say, why would this be important to Karen? Why should it be important to Karen? Sometimes it's not about the activity itself, it's what the activity represents. So that's a great question to be able to ask your clients as well. So Karen, before we have a lot of people being super helpful on the name. Karen Elkin did it in a great way because she also gave the way to pronounce it. And so that is the name. And it looks like it's Chicks Sent Me High. Oh, that's pretty easy, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that's coming up for That's Who Karen referenced. I wanted to go ahead and give that. And a lot of people reference him a lot with different people. Rena shares that the should is the S word, and should equals stress. Exactly. So it's a lot of it is about how do you focus on the benefit, the outcome, more importantly, the feeling of what it's going to give you. What are ways to be able to be engaged with it? If you don't do it, what's going to happen? If you do it, what's going to happen? Those kinds of things actually come up.
Hey, Jen, I think that that's a really important thing too, because so many times as coaches, we sit here and we say, okay, so what's it going to feel like when you've accomplished this? I think just as important is finding out what's it going to feel like if you don't. Because a lot of people focus on what the quote unquote positive might be. And sometimes it's that suck that's actually going to motivate you. Because even going back to our text message string with all of our streaker friends for the run, it's the, oh crap, I am not going to not send out a text message today that I didn't do this, because that would feel like crap. So for me, it wasn't the wearing the t-shirt at the end. It was sometimes it was just like, I am not going to be, you know, the candy ass who's bailing out here because I can't do it.
So let me do a couple other questions that we have written in here. So I'm going to give Trish's first question. She said, I have a client whose goal setting seems to be more like a to-do list, such as like organize the craft room. She gets some meaty items in there, like start an Etsy shop, which is funny. Organize the craft room, start an Etsy shop. But the goals tend to be a mix of robust items that will have deeper impact, and the light ones are a little bit more administrative. We've done AIM Smart setting as well as the goal setting program from the best year yet, and I'm not yet observing a deepening of the goals and intentions towards a shift. So Trish, I'm going to jump in here first and say this is what I'd have her do. I would actually have her create two lists, right? So one is the administrative to-do list, the daily things that you want to get done. So for example, today, Karen and I had some emails that we wanted to do some copy around. I have some accounting things. Those are things to get done. Have that be on one list. Have larger goals, such as open an Etsy shop or have a successful business. You would probably want to get a little bit more specific with those things on a separate list. And what I would do is I would do some mapping of what is the administrative list and how does that fit into an overarching goal. So for example, the organizing of the craft room and open an Etsy shop. I'm assuming there's something related, right? So Etsy is for craft owners. I would say, how would organizing the craft room help you open up an Etsy shop? And start doing a connect the dots of the daily activities to the larger picture. And truth be told, is if she had the Etsy shop in her head, right, as the goal and had a vision for what that is, had it defined for what it is, she actually may organize the craft room completely different based on just putting stuff on shelves.
One thing too, Jen, with that, that just made me think of, it's almost like a lot of times I feel like people's quote unquote to-do lists are their actual intentions. So it's all those things that you said to get all these things done. And those, a lot of times that is intentions. I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna do this. The interesting thing is if you take a look, and I'm just gonna pull this back into commitment for a second. If you take a look at the to-do list, those are the intentions. But if you take a look at your calendar, that's the commitment. So what are you making the commitments for? And then how do you connect the two of them? Because to-do lists are sometimes just random things. But when you're sitting here and making a true commitment, a lot of times then it's like, okay, this is the time that's allotted on your calendar for you to actually make things happen, for you to actually get things done. So the commitment then would be the action that goes with this.
I love it. So a couple comments coming in here. Brenda says goals often fall out of vision. Definitely true. Barbara shared, sounds like the morning I had all shoulds for other people, and I finally sat down to my desk at 11:30, right? So having to take care of other people and doing what you should be doing, and a lot of it could be, you know, figuring out, do you need to ask for help? Do you need to say no? Is that okay to start at 11:30? Those kinds of things. Okay, so another question I had,
Also, Jen, just really quick, somebody said something about SMART goals. It's funny, Jen and I had heard this a while ago, and we tweaked the definition a little bit, or the acronym. And we talked a little bit about having goals with spirit. So they're specific. You're actually present. You're in what you're in when you're in it. It's I statements, the I will do this or I will do that. So there's I statements there. The R is about reaching high and aiming high. The I is the impact. The impact is going to have on you. The impact is going to have on other people. And the T is you want that timeline or you want that deadline. So just want to throw that out, the spirit.
All right, so there I just put it up. Specific, present, I statements, reaching high, impact, and timeline. Also stands for spirit. So that's another great way to do it. Now, a lot of times with coaching goals, I actually follow my client's lead, right? So I don't sit there and go, so specifically what you want to do and how are you going to be present? And can you say it in an I statement? What I do though is I check as I'm listening for what it is that they're actually saying. So let's say somebody says, I want to be healthy. Well, that's an intention. A commitment is what, certain kinds of foods, certain amount of calories, saying no to sugar. It could be carbs. It just depends on the person. So the intention is to be healthy, but the goal setting is when I start to get into, well, what would that even look like? How would you know? What would be different than what you're doing right now? How do you set yourself up for success? And 40 days from now, what habits would need to be in place for you to feel like you were being healthy? So I'm going to ask all those random crazy questions to be able to get them to identify what that truly is. So I don't necessarily follow the S, the M, the A, the R, the T, or the spirit letters. It's more I'm listening so I can pull that out to make sure that I hear those points being met. Right, Kara?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to say, I wrote down these notes and I was going to tie it into a question and, this is it. This came from Claire. So Claire says, it's a comment more, I've experienced some interesting negative energy and resistance around the word and concept of accountability with some of my clients. I read somewhere and have reframed it to how attractive the goal and intention is. So how attracted are they to it? And it's really shifted the energy around it. So the key thing here, she's just sharing that some clients don't like the accountability word. And I think you got to ask your clients, right? So what I want to do when I am coaching is figure out what is the person's relationships with intention setting and goal setting. So what I mean by that is, what is it that, how have they been successful in the past? Where have they maybe gotten into challenges? When do they usually give up? How often after setting a goal do they throw caution to the wind? When do they know they're on track? When do they know they're not on track? So the interesting thing with all of this is that I really want to ask them what motivates you and what inspires you. So motivation is often an external thing. So with our running streak, we'll use that. My motivation was sending that text every day to our group of 5. It was called the Streakers, and saying what it was that I did for the day. That was an external action that I could take that I found motivating to post that and send to all. What inspired me was completely different. The inspiration for me was, how do I feel as a runner? What are some of my own internal goals that I have? What am I trying to really measure about what I can do versus what I maybe am striving to do? Inspiration comes from within, and motivation for me is very external. So asking those two different questions for your clients is a great way to be able to find out what works for them. Ask them, how do you view the word accountability? What's going to keep you committed? How do you keep this intention alive through your commitments? What's going to work for you? I know that group accountability is great for me. Do I love the word accountability? Not so much, but I like the concept of it. What are you smiling about, Sullivan?
I just think it's almost that thing, what you got to speak the language of your client. And there's some people that accountability is something that gets them pumped up and excited, and others of them feel like it's handcuffs. So then figuring out what's going to be the words that are going to be the best for that person. So the person that hates accountability, it's almost like, okay, so the thing that pops up for me is, so how are you going to let me know that you did what you said you were going to do? Or how are you going to know? How are you yourself going to know that you really, really hit this out of the park and did what you said you were going to do?
I love it. So a couple of things. One is that in the Facebook group, right after this post, we are going to put a new graphic up, and it says, what commitments will you make to live your intention for the year? Your intention is your word for 2018. So now it's time to start thinking, what commitments are you going to make to have that word be fulfilled in many different ways throughout the year? You don't have to worry about May right now. Just do January. What commitments are you going to make right now, this week, today, or tomorrow, or for the next week, next month, to help you intentionally be committed to the theme that you want to experience for the year? So, Kara, why are you smiling? You look so cute.
You look cute.
Okay, so let's see. The other thing that I also want to say, because we decided we're going to keep these Facebook Lives to just 30 minutes. So if you have any last words to type in, please definitely do that. We do want to let people know that we do have a coaching intensive. So if your intention is confidence and you around your coaching and you want to be committed to that, a great way to do that is we have a coaching intensive starting January 22nd. It's 6 weeks. And we meet for 90 minutes a week, limited to 10 coaches, where it's all about coaching skills, feedback, theory, discussion, and real-time coaching somebody and stopping and helping with the questions. You get to hear other people coach. It's great. We have
Again, just one thing I want to throw in on that really quick, because I think that this is really, really important. And we've been doing this, and this is no exaggeration, that one of the classes that we love the most. But I really feel like that class is the picture of helping coaches believe in themselves and their own ability to coach. And I think that that's what we're able to pull out of people. And I got to tell you, we love it. Everybody else that takes it loves it. We have so many repeat offenders, as I like to call them, that have taken the class like 10 times. It's so individualized, and we just want to help you believe in you as much as we believe in you.
Cool. Good. I know. So Brenda even shared, it's a great class. So basically what I'm going to just share with you guys is that if you're interested, just send me an email. Jen, Jenn, at kickstartyouredge.com would be the best way, because we're still setting up the sign up page. What, Kara?
And just, I think, 5 slots left.
Yeah, so we have 5 already accounted for and only 5 slots left. So I love it. Susie from Colorado, which I have questions about what you and your family did yesterday on the mountain. I saw on Facebook, Susie, you had some interesting words that I didn't quite know what they meant. It's some kind of, I don't know, mountain climbing words. Anyway, but that's not what you wrote. You said, thanks for the knowledge and perspective. I appreciate all you do for the art of coaching. Love you guys. And there's a shout out to Roz saying, love this Facebook Live, sending you love, which is great. And, and Karen even has taken our class before, and she said it's fun too. And Roz, actually, you're right. You were a repeat offender. It's the best. So, but number 1 repeat offender, Joanne Ryan. I think she's the one who's taken it like 10 times.
I think so too.
All right, you guys, we're going to call it a wrap. If you're interested, send me an email. We're going to continue to be committed to our Facebook group. And our intention with our group is to really get skilled at the art of coaching, and our commitment to helping is answering questions, putting out our daily posts, as well as doing more Facebook Lives. So we really appreciate you. We know that 2018, seeing the power of the collective word cloud that we posted yesterday, we're excited to see what this group is going to be able to accomplish in everything that we do for 2018. So that's all I got.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.